can no longer be a partner against terror. It's a joke because France itself has been openly arming terror for the last 4 years. And of course, so has Turkey. So what's really going on is France is angry that Turkey is choosing to go a different way now. It's leaning now towards trying to reverse the disaster that is created for itself with this instability, with economic problems with Russia, with taking advice and shooting down a Russian jet, all because they wanted to join the EU, which is on its way to collapsing. And this is how I read the situation. And I think that the idea that they did it to themselves, I think that it comes from, one, a hatred and distrust of Erdogan and a lack of understanding as to why sometimes puppets are just thrown away when they're no longer, doing what they're told, or they're no longer useful, which, it's a confusing situation. But no, many people died. People are in exile. Coup leaders are in jail. I don't think he did it to himself. I think that that Russia tipped him off about a CIA agenda to get rid of him and put someone else that was going to maintain the status quo and not try to make friends with Russia.
Okay, we're going to switch to what's happening in Munich now, but Syrian Girl, by the way, I've retweeted a video which allegedly shows the gunman from a distance. This is filmed from a distance. It appears to show a gunman with a long gun shooting at citizens in Germany. Again, this is not confirmed. I don't know if it's actually from the scene of the attack that happened just a couple of hours ago, but if you want to play that video, it's not gruesome, so you can play it on the TV show. Again, that's allegedly footage of the first shooter. Now they're saying there are multiple shooters in 2 locations, maybe more locations, and this terror has come to Europe yet again. But Syrian Girl, just closing comments here and tell people how they can find out more about your content on Twitter and YouTube.
Please come and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Syrian Girl Partisan, and to my Twitter account, Partisan Girl. And thank you so much, Paul. It's really a pleasure, and much respect to you and InfoWars for being one of the few sources that warned us about this, though. What is happening now?
Okay, thanks a lot. There goes Syrian Girl. Be sure to check out her YouTube channel. And again, that interview kind of got hijacked by the unfolding situation in Germany, which we're going to try and cover as it gets worse and worse, which is the case every single time. First reports were shooter in a shopping mall, 1 dead, 10 injured. It got worse and worse. This is out of RT headline. Multiple deaths at shooting in Munich shopping mall. Gunmen, plural, still at large. Multiple deaths are reported in a shooting at the Olympia shopping mall in Munich, Germany. Police confirmed that shots have been fired in the mall but gave no information on casualties. Other local German news sources are saying that now 15 have been killed in that shooting alone. Police are now calling it a, quote, shooting rampage. There are further reports of a shooting at Karlsplatz Square in central Munich, but this has not been confirmed, but it appears that Die Welt and other local media sources are confirming that that happened. There's a video which RT posted, as well as numerous people on Twitter, so it appears though it could be genuine. Somebody filming from what looks like a high-rise building down onto a parking lot where there may be a shooter reportedly caught on camera. There's another video, which again is unconfirmed, which shows somebody with a long gun wearing what appears to be dark blue overalls, randomly shooting at citizens on the streets of Munich. Again, it's not gruesome. I've retweeted it. We don't know if it's genuine or not, but that's up there on my Twitter page. BBC is reporting, a German NTV reporter in Munich says there are reports of shots being fired at the Stachus, also known as Karlsplatz, a large square in central Munich, about 5 kilometers from the site of the original shooting, which was a shopping center. The newspaper Die Welt also reports a second shooting. There are no further details yet. Again, the police are calling it a rampage. This doesn't look good at all. Officers are asking people not to post videos or photos of police action. Don't support the attackers, this tweet says. Well, the only people who are going to be supporting the attackers are ISIS supporters, and they're probably not going to listen to the advice of police. Munich police are advising people to avoid public places. So again, this bloodshed has come to the streets of Europe. Again, 8 days after we had an ISIS jihadist radicalized by ISIS. He'd planned the attack for over a year, plow through, what was it, 84 dead or more in Nice, dozens and dozens more injured. This is happening every single week in Europe, in major cities. And the French Prime Minister Manuel Valls said that we're just going to have to live with it. Well, I refuse to live with it. Now, we don't know the perpetrator. We don't know what's happening right now. It could be blamed on a right-winger. And remember, we've had the reports, the security intelligence within Germany saying that Merkel's policies of bringing in millions of Muslim migrants are not only laying down a red carpet for actual jihadists, and we had the mastermind of the Paris massacre brag in ISIS's manifesto that they were exploiting that migrant wave to insert jihadists into Europe to create these Muslim ghettos, which are radicalized, which are a wellspring for terrorists, because the people in those communities don't report on suspicious behavior. In the case of Abdeslam in Molenbeek, Brussels, they protected him for 3 months before he was even caught. And again, the left champions these ghettos that produce actual terrorists. Now it seems it could be happening again in Munich. Again, we don't know the perpetrator. The video that I've retweeted, you can't really tell the race or ethnicity of the perpetrator. It's a grainy video. It's from across the street. But again, police say they're dealing with a rampage. This has happened in Munich. It's happened at a shopping centre. And also now reportedly in the central square in Munich, just 8 days after the Nice attack, 3 days after what happened in another part of Germany where this Afghan refugee who was in the country for 2 years started screaming Allah Akbar while chopping up innocent tourists on a train in Germany. Now Sky News is reporting second shooting at the Marienplatz station. So it remains to be seen whether that is the same location as they said before, the square, the central square, or in fact that's the third shooting. So far they're saying 2 different sites for the shootings. Daily Mail reports several dead, 10 injured. Again, the city's Olympic Park was first hit. A video, and this is what I retweeted, now the Daily Mail's reporting on it, purporting to show the shooter dressed in black firing 20 shots has been posted on Twitter. The footage shows him outside a McDonald's, directly outside the shopping centre. That is on my Twitter at Prison Planet. Again, if you want to see that, terror has again come to Europe. It was entirely predictable. I predicted it on the Alex Jones Show last week. In fact, we'll find that clip and play it after the break. This is the Alex Jones Show live. Breaking news from Munich. Don't go away. We are back live on the Alex Jones Show. We've got Chuck Johnson coming up in the final hour to talk about what he experienced at the RNC. We'll also get his take on this shooting in Munich, Germany, which the police are now calling a rampage. At least 2 different sites. There have been mass shootings by at least 2 different gunmen. Again, first report said that this had ended, that the gunman had been captured or killed. That appears not to be the case. But now, thankfully, the BBC is reporting shooting at Stacker's false alarm. Earlier reports of a second shooting in the city centre were a false alarm. So that is very good news because it indicates that this was at least a lone attacker and not somebody who's part of a cell and part of a wider massacre like we saw horrifically in Paris. So thankfully, that second incident looks like it's a false alarm, but we've still got video footage, which again I retweeted. You can see it up on my Twitter at Prison Planet, which shows the shooter targeting civilians. In fact, it looks like there's another video. No, it's the same video. Again, it's an individual dressed in what appears to be a dark jumpsuit style attire with a long gun, shooting at random civilians on the street as they flee. Absolutely horrific. Police say they believe that more than one attacker was involved, with some witnesses saying they saw a gunman flee towards an underground station, which is what might tie into those other reports that there was a second shooter in a metro station. It might be the same shooter. Again, unconfirmed mobile phone footage also appears to show a man shooting outside a McDonald's restaurant. Police are describing it as a shooting rampage. It remains to be seen who the perpetrator is. But this is what I said on the Alex Jones show just a week ago, that Germany would be the next to suffer a major attack. Here's that clip. I'll just blame that as well.
Sure, so what comes next? I mean, where does this all end, Paul?
Well, we're in a war. I mean, the head of the French police last week said 1 or 2 more Islamic terror attacks in France. It's civil war. Now, the French have largely capitulated. What I'm predicting is this is going to happen in Germany. There's going to be a massive attack. There's going to be a massive backlash. There's going to be civil unrest. There's going to be riots on the streets. So that was me on the Alex Jones show just a week ago, again, one day after the Nice attacks, which everybody has forgotten about, by the way. Again, these things just fly by and people forget about them. There's no reflection whatsoever. There's no actual consideration or implementation of anything right now that's going to change this from happening over and over again. As I said, that Germany would be the next to be hit. And again, it's unconfirmed who the perpetrator is. It's important to stress that at this point. But Merkel has been warned by her interior intelligence over and over again that these policies of housing untold millions of Muslim migrants in Germany with no proficient vetting process will lead to more attacks and eventually will lead to civil unrest, because you're going to have a concurrent rise in resentment on the extreme right. You're going to have clashes on the streets, and this is only going to get worse. If this turns out to be a radical Islamic terror attack, Angela Merkel must step down immediately. I mean, I called for that after the Axe attack a few days ago. Again, a Muslim migrant from Afghanistan, 2 years in the country, starts chanting Allah Akbar while hacking people to death on a train. Everybody forgot about that the day after. The French PM said, you've just got to live with it. Just get used to it. I refuse to get used to it. I'm not going to live in a world where I'm scared to go on major streets in European cities because I think I might get blown up or shot in the head. I'm just not going to tolerate that, because that's not what living in a free, open society should be about. I'm going to be back with more on the Munich, what looks like a terror attack. We're going to be back with Charles Johnson of GotNews.com to talk about his confrontation with Jamie Weinstein and Michelle Fields at the RNC. This is the Alex Jones Show live, breaking news at Infowars.com. Don't go anywhere. We are back on the Alex Jones Show. We're going to go to our guest, Chuck Johnson, in the next segment. But again, we're talking about this breaking news, which is this mass shooting in Munich. Daily Mail reports several dead, 10 injured. Others are reporting 15 dead. Shooting rampage inside a shopping center as police admit they don't know where the gunman is. Now they're saying possibly 2 gunmen. Thankfully, those reports of a shooting at a second site have been dismissed. So it appears that this is just in one location. But now the gunman or gunmen appear to have disappeared. So we're going to keep tabs on that. Hopefully the death toll doesn't rise. It always seems to in these situations. And again, we just played the clip. I was on the Alex Jones Show exactly 1 week ago. I'm not bragging about it. I don't want to be right on this, but I said Germany would be next to be hit with a major attack, and that unfortunately looks like it's happened today. This is out of Information Liberation. On a related subject, German officials respond to migrants' Axe attack by calling for mandatory Islam classes. That's right, they're not calling to stop the massive influx of jihadists on this migrant red carpet. It's Germans who must assimilate to their culture, not the other way around. German authorities responded to a Muslim migrant stabbing spree by calling for all children to attend mandatory classes on Islam. I guess in a similar vein to how German school children, as we reported last year, were told by headmasters at local schools not to wear short skirts or even just shorts because they had housed Muslim migrants in a gymnasium that was actually on the site of the school, and because they might get offended or they might sexually molest these young girls, that it was the German school children who had to assimilate to their backward culture and not that they had to integrate into German society. The local reports. Local authorities are calling for classes on Islam to be brought in at schools across the country after a radicalized Muslim youth attacked passengers on a train with an axe on Monday. quote, "It's appropriate to bring in classes on Islam in state schools or schools overseen by the state," Gerd Landsberg, head of the